They were hungry, so they killed their best friend. On the fine evening of the 20th of January 2009, Katerina Zavena returned home after a long working day. She finds her hungover housemates Maxim Golovastik and Yuri Monzanov on the couch, watching TV and eating some stew made of meat, onions, and potato. They offered her some, and she gladly took it. As she sat down to eat the soup peacefully, she did not know that she was eating human meat. To understand what had happened that day at the house, keep watching till the end. This is CrimeFlicks, your #1 stop for crime stories. Young Karina Budachan, raised by a single mother, has always deeply loved the performing arts. She used to put forth a lot of effort to enroll in a theatrical program and participate in numerous productions. She also enjoyed writing, putting her all into her poetry and short stories. She used to tell her friends that she aspired to go to a famous theater school in Russia and then move to the United States to become an actress. She was also very much interested in music, specifically heavy rock music. At 15, as she dove more into this world and attended numerous shows, she met a teenager named Maxim, who was 19. Karina, who Maxim much influenced, started dressing like him, listening to the same music, and developing a secret crush on him. However, Maxim had a girlfriend when they first met, so he did not share Karina's sentiments with him. But they remained friends and used to attend concerts together. Around this time, Karen's mother, Nadia, met Maxim a few times, and she says, "Karina told me about him and I tried to warn her off." She says she thought Maxim was playing with her emotions and that he was too old for her. She also mentions that Maxim seemed to be a creepy guy. Life was going well for Karina as she began discovering the world, music, and arts and making new friends. But only until January 19th, 2009, the day she went missing. Karina's day at school was typical. She attended class and left to study at a friend's house. Karina asked her mother if she could stay the night with her friends so they could do their homework as the night grew darker, to which her mother gave her permission. But her mother was unaware that this was the last time she would hear from her daughter. Karina had promised her mother that she would be home the next day by 7 a.m., but that never happened. Nadia became worried the next day as her daughter was not yet home. She tried calling her mobile, but no one answered the calls, so she called Karina's friend to ask about her, but they revealed that Karina was not at her friend's house. The friend told Nadia that Karina had gone to meet someone the previous night after they finished their homework, and she said she saw Karina last at the train station. Karina's mother runs to the police station immediately to report her missing, and they start looking directly. Karina was only 16 years old at the time. They searched every nook and cranny of the city for the next 2 weeks, but were still looking for Karina. Karina's mother discovered dark, passionate love poems addressed to a man named Max as she searched through her daughter's secret diary. Nadia asked the police to question this Max about Karina's disappearance, feeling a sense of approaching dread. But tragically, this wasn't looked into at the time. The remains of a girl whose name was unknown were discovered at a waste dump, according to a horrific discovery covered by the press. Do you think the body was that of Karina? So moving on, as the forensic team dug further, the gruesome truth became apparent. It was Karina, a once smart young woman whose body had been ruthlessly dissected and dumped like rubbish. Drowning was found to be the cause of death. The incisions on her body seemed to be made with a skilled hand, suggesting the murderer had considerable experience, perhaps working as a butcher. Her death's precise date remained a mystery, but it was obvious that this was a horrific act of violence. The investigation continued, but it was still unclear who and why such a terrible crime could have been committed. Then, out of nowhere, the police got a break. Remember to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications whenever new crime-related videos are produced. A young lady named Katerina Zaneva said that Karina had visited her residence on the eve of the disappearance. Her statement to the police was like the piece of a puzzle they were missing. The cops listened closely as she described what happened, hanging on her every word. Katerina recalled a house party held that night after Katrina's disappearance. Katerina, her housemate Maxim, his friend Yuri, and 2 others were there. They all had began drinking and were intoxicated. In the middle of the party, Max gets a call from Karen and asks her to join the party. The call ended, and he turned and yelled to Yuri from across the room that the meat was on the way. At the time, no one understood Max's implication except Yuri. Karina eventually joined them, laughing loudly and with a carefree attitude. The six of them enjoyed a fun night of drinking and music. Max soon said he wanted to spend time with Karina alone and asked all his friends to leave. He also requests that Katerina, his roommate, give them some space. So all of the visitors, save for Yuri. Karina agreed to bathe with Maxim after he told her he wanted to be intimate with her. Katerina claimed Karina had gone to the bathroom with Maxim since she loved him. She recalls hearing noises and water splashes as she drifted off to sleep, but she decided to check if everything was all right. But Yuri stopped her, said everything was fine, and asked her to return to bed. In the morning, Karina was lying in the bathtub with Max sitting on her legs, unaware of the impending disaster. She only sensed something was off when Max sneezed 3 times as their prearranged signal, and Yuri came in and forced Karina's head into the water, and the 2 men drowned her to death. They carefully cut through her body, taking out her organs that had not completely stopped and had traces of life still pulsing through them. The cold-blooded act perplexes us about the darkness that could be hidden in people's minds. They cooked the carefully cut pieces of Karen's body. As they cooked, potatoes and veggies were added to the mixture. Yuri and Maxim thoroughly cleaned the bathroom with frigid precision since they knew that if anyone, especially the unwitting roommate, asked, they would explain that Karina had left the house like everyone else before her. The sadistic duo meticulously kept the parts of Karina's body they didn't cook in the freezer and discarded the remainder of her dismembered body, including her severed head, in a St. Petersburg neighborhood. The investigation into Karina's horrific murder was never-ending, with prime suspects Yuri and Max. Their stories twisted and turned as they sat opposite the investigators, trying, in turn, to place the blame on the other. But eventually their lies fell, and they both admitted to the awful act they had committed. Maxim scoffed in response when asked why they did this, saying that they were hungry and there was nothing to eat in the house. Hearing their complete lack of humanity is stunning. Investigators, thinking the murder was a long time in the making, and they knew they had the killers when they discovered some of Karina's organs in Maxim's refrigerator. During the trial, along with murder, they were charged with the theft of some of Karen's belongings. They were also accused of eating the victim's meat and serving some to their unaware housemate, Katerina. As the court trial proceeded, Yuri said that he was a kind and positive man and that leniency should be shown as his last words. Well, look at the deeds of a kind soul. On the other hand, Maxim remained silent and had no last comments. The court sentenced the 2 arrested cannibals to be guilty and sentenced to 18 and 19 years of jail service at a jail called the Colony. This jail was gruesome for the inmates as the rules were strict and the inmates were often beaten. Karina's mother was heartbroken as she saw the truth of her daughter's death unravel through the TV. Maxim was found dead in his cell in March 2017, 8 years into his sentence. He committed suicide by hanging and leaving a note saying that his purpose in this body had been fulfilled and that it was time for him to go. But his relatives believe there was no reason or mention from him about committing such an act. With that, we come to the end of this crime story. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to CrimeFlicks.